You can't avoid this, you must know stats for A-level biology. T-test, chi-square, Spearman's rank. We're doing t-test today. T-test is used to compare the mean of two data. I have made this very simple example, so let's go through it. Forest A, Forest B. I want to measure the height of Forest A with Forest B. Now Forest B has more light, so my hypothesis is going to be that I think that the mean height of Forest B will be taller than Forest A. That's my hypothesis. However, you must have a null hypothesis for every single investigation. Null hypothesis, you simply state that there is no difference between the two things that you're comparing. In our case, there is no difference in mean height between Forest A and Forest B. So we have done our data. So the data shows that the average height of Forest A was 10 meters. And the average height of Forest B was 15 meters. As a GCSE student, you would think, as a conclusion would be, that the trees of Forest A is taller than Forest B. But now you're doing A-level, so for A-level standard, we need to know something else. What if the results are literally due to coincidence, by chances? And that's where we use stats. Now, there is chances in everything. There's always a chance. So how much chance are we willing to accept or ignore? It's less than 5%. Memorize that for biology. So there's two scenarios now. Now, if the probability of happening by chance is less than 5%, it means the result is significant. What does that mean? It's less than 5% chance. Now, the opposite scenario, if the probability of happening by chance is more than 5%, the result is not significant. So not significant when it's more than 5%. So to summarize, if the probability of happening by chance is less than 5%, significant. More than 5%, not significant. But how do you know if it's less than 5% or more than 5%? We're going to use p-value to find this out. The p-value in the exam will always be given to you. So in our example, let's say that this whole research, Forest A, Forest B, the p-value that you have calculated is 0.02. That's the p-value we have calculated. 0.02, we need to compare this with 0.05. That's the standard. We need to say whether it's a smaller or larger than 0.05. Very simple. Smaller or larger. Clearly smaller here. Let's do some basics. 0.05 means 5% probability of happening by chance. So less than 0.05 means the probability of happening by chance is less than 5%. Example, 0.04. The other extreme, more than 0.05 means the probability of happening by chance is more than 5%. Example, 0.08 is more than 5%. A conclusion, a 4-mark conclusion. So the p-value which we have calculated was 0.02. Remember, it's done for you in the exam. And what will you do? You're going to compare that with your 0.05 p-value, right? Which is 5%. Is it smaller or larger? It's smaller. So our first mark would be the calculated p-value 0.02 is less than 0.05. That's 1 mark. For the second mark, we're going to say this means that the probability of happening by chance is less than 5%, right? So remember, if it's less than 5% chance, the result is significant. So I'm going to write down, which means the probability, and I'm going to explain the full scenario. So the probability of the mean height of Forest B is taller than Forest A. Mean is less than 5% of happening due to chance. Then Forest A and the third mark would be, so therefore the result is significant. And how do you know it's significant? Is because the probability of happening due to chance is less than 5%. Now that's going to be the third mark. The fourth mark refers back to your null hypothesis. Read it again. There is no difference between the mean height of A and B. So do we accept it or reject it? We're going to clearly reject this because we can see there's a difference and that difference is significant. So we reject it because the difference is significant. That's the 4-mark answer.